Welcome, everyone, to the Ted and Teach Show. I'm Ted.
I'm Teach.
And we're a local MMA podcast for North Dakota fighters, talking to you about Winter Brawl and all our results that we have here nicely written on our board.
Yeah, it was a fun night of fights.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was great. It's been a long time since we had some fights in town, so
yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they were really good. I enjoyed them all and stuff. I hated the fact that I lost pretty much every one that I think I picked. I think I only won like 2 fights.
Yeah.
Compared to what you had picked, Teach. But yeah, I guess you live and you learn from it. Who do you want to talk about first, Teach?
Well, talk about the Casey Gajewski and the Jeremy Sudell fight.
Oh, man. Like I said, one of my losses. I thought Jeremy was going to pull off at least one win, and it did not happen with Casey. Casey, again, the aggressor, looked pissed off at the end. He didn't look like he wanted to.
Yeah, I guess there was something at weigh-ins. I guess Jeremy Sudell blew Casey a kiss. So after the fight, Casey returned the kiss.
Wasn't having it, huh? That sucks, man. Yeah, Jeremy just he didn't look like he was ready at all for it. I mean, you watching Casey's fights, you know he's aggressive. He's coming at you. He's gonna fucking, and that's what he did. He just fucking went at him and he got.
He came out with kicks and kept the distance and took Jeremy Sudell's boxing away from him.
Yep.
Yeah, right off the bat. So, and that created Jeremy to overcommit on his punches, and that's when Casey slipped underneath and took him down.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't see anything that Jeremy got going that could have helped him. I mean, Casey was just, coming at him, and yeah.
And just like the pre-fight show, we talked about, both of their struggles on the ground game.
Yep.
And this show, Jeremy was still struggling with the ground game.
Yeah, he couldn't get him off. I mean, Casey did look a little heavier, but I mean, he should have done something to get him off of him.
Casey did a great job once he got him down there. And just
he wasn't letting him up.
Started doing some ground and pound and slipped his way into a.
I will give Jeremy the fact that we did see somebody grab onto the cage real quick, and I mean, even then I was telling you, Teach, I hate that. I mean, just that 1 second where you do get kind of pinned and you want to kick out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jeremy's corner saw that too, but it was too quick to be saying like a factor or anything. I mean, it does suck when you do hold onto the cage.
It does.
Keep him there.
It was a split second from what I seen too, and
yeah, we talked about it. I don't see, umpire.
It's part of the game. People are gonna.
The ref didn't catch it, so.
All the ref's gonna do is, hey, don't do that.
So
they're not gonna stand him up for it.
Casey gets the inverted triangle on him, and that was pretty good. He had him there pinned for a while, and he just punched him into submission.
Yeah, until he tapped.
Yeah.
It was a good, quick fight. I mean, it was only a couple minutes.
Yeah, the first 4 fights of Winter Brawl went quick.
Very quick, yeah.
Very quick.
I was a little nervous there. Thought we were, 1 hour show. We're all gonna go home.
Yeah, no buzz.
Yeah.
So Jeremy goes to 0-4, and Casey moves to 6-1.
Yep, Casey pulled out the win. And now he's up to 6-1.
Yep.
And get himself a nice little record there.
Yeah, man. Way to go. Way to go.
Our next fight was Jason Everett versus Kevin Jaden.
Yeah, this one we had talked about last time. Wow, I lost this one too. I think I thought Jason was gonna pull it out. I mean, just looking at Kevin's record and just like you were talking about, where's the commitment? But maybe Kevin heard you, Teach, because he came out and he looked like he was pretty, patient. He didn't overshoot anything. He didn't put himself.
Jason, he came out his pro debut. I mean, even though Kevin has a losing record, but you got 31 fights.
Yeah, you got to know something.
And you got the experience, period. And it did look like Jason did come out, excited, got in there, committed a little too much into things.
He had that choke on him, and he held it just too long, and then he just looked kind of just burnt.
Yeah, he burnt. It looked like he just burnt his arms out. And, and it is that's a beginner's mistake. He didn't have everything locked up, and he just held on to that head too long.
Yeah, and I think at one point I thought maybe Jason thought like, oh, okay, is he out? because it didn't look like Kevin was moving. He was just kind of patiently waiting. He wasn't worried about anything. He wasn't.
Well, you could see that Kevin did give the ref the thumbs up a couple times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Jason should have been paying attention. And going, okay, he's still thumbing him.
He still couldn't see him. Because I think the way the angle was, the ref's over here, Jason was back here, and he just didn't look like he could see what was going on. But he was choking him as much as he could.
And that always, it sucks as a pro. As your pro debut, you're so excited. You want to show everybody how good you are and how you trained, and then you overcommit to something, and you're not willing to let it go.
Yeah. That adrenaline rush
burnt him out. Then Kevin, turned around and slipped and took his back, and choked him out until he went to sleep. I mean, the kid, the guy didn't tap.
Yeah, hats off to Kevin. I mean, he's still going at it, still trying.
He did a really, textbook rear naked choke. So we'll give that to you.
So Kevin improves to 5-27, and Jason goes on to 0-1.
0-1. Well, just keep on. Hopefully, he keeps on training and he'll get this one back.
Yeah, you can't be defined by the one fight. You just gotta suck it up and move on.
Yep.
Next we got Nick Ostermiller versus Eric Kemper, and I was cheering for Nick on this one too, and Eric got him and stuff.
I'm pretty sure we both picked Nick on this one.
Yeah, we did. Nick was in control. Nick picked him up, slammed him down.
Got a nice big slam.
Doing the textbook thing like he always does, and Eric slipped one in there on him.
Yeah, it looked like Eric went for an early Kimura, but Nick worked his way out of that one. And did Nick go? Didn't he go for a submission in there?
Yeah, they both went for it.
For that Kimura, right?
Yeah, they both looked like they saw it open and they grabbed it. They tussled around. I think Nick slammed him twice, and then when he got him on that last slam and he got kind of in a position, he said Eric slipped it in on him and he got the armbar. He looked like he transitioned really well too.
Yeah, he did. It was a beautiful armbar.
It was really quick. I even talked to Nick afterwards, and Nick said, yeah, he realized that he wanted to stand up with him. He should have stood up with him, but he just got caught up, and that was,
Yeah, I mean, when you're so used to wrestling, it's sometimes it's really hard to keep yourself from doing it, even though you shouldn't do it. You end up just going to the old habits, and that's what it looked like. I mean, it looked like he was doing fine in his stand-up, and if he'd have stuck with it, just the fight could have ended differently.
Yeah. Golly, you usually get comfortable and shit happens. Nothing we can do. I was impressed with Eric. I didn't think he was gonna be able to hang with Nick, and he caught him. I mean, wow. Another one. I had such a bad night. You should see my football picks. They're pretty bad too. So, yeah, this one, Nick goes to 2-1. And Eric goes to 1-1.
Yep, goes 1-1 with a beautiful armbar. It was really nice. It was. Our next fight is Bruce Nelson versus Ryan DeBall. How did that guy ref say?
DeBalk. I think it was DeBalk. Yeah, that was.
Oh man, this
unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah,
this fight was quick.
The guy was huge.
Ryan came out. He was in shape.
Yeah, Ryan
looked beast, looking like a beast.
Yeah, man. He did. I mean, Bruce looked tiny in there, and I mean,
and Bruce is a big boy, and he looks small.
Yeah. And what can we say? I mean, it went quick.
And Bruce is tough, and it was wow. I mean, basically, it was Ryan coming out, no fear, and
feeling each other out. There was one punch that we saw that, man, if he would have hit Bruce, it probably would have just put him down. But Bruce held on. He tried to fight him off, tried to feel him out. Looks like he tried to push him off a couple of times to get some space, and then.
Yeah, you can see, Ryan clocked Bruce a couple times, and Bruce tried to exchange it back, and the beast mode came out of Ryan, man.
Yeah, he's pretty huge. I didn't think he was that big, but yeah.
He got Bruce to the ground and just pounded him. Those strikes were damaging.
Yeah, good thing that Bruce didn't get hurt too bad. He got up afterwards and after the fight, and he was okay. Looked okay from where we were sitting.
Yeah, that's true. He did walk off on his own, so that's a good thing.
So yeah,
it was a dominant performance by Ryan. It was wow. The guy went into beast mode.
Yeah, and I thought he was
awesome.
I thought he was gonna wrestle with. I thought maybe he'd get into some wrestling with Bruce or something. I thought it was gonna play into Bruce's hands. But he must have just knew if I stay on the outside, punch, and
Yeah. It was great. It was awesome. Hopefully that the fight will get on YouTube.
Well, for Ryan, yeah, that helps Ryan.
Bruce is up there at age.
Yeah.
His career's basically where it's at. It's not going to really get much better for him. But Ryan, he's still down where he can put in another 10 years or something. 10 years of fighting.
Ryan
he
was
has a
like
chance.
33 though, wasn't he? Teach? He was
I didn't see.
I thought I saw like 33 or, But I mean, yeah, if he just started or whatever and stuff at 3-0,
he probably has another 10 years in him if he stays in shape, stays healthy, and he can still make it someplace.
Yeah, and again, we lost this one. Did we both take Bruce, Teach?
Yeah, we both took Bruce.
We both took Bruce. We didn't know much about Ryan, so we went with the hometown favorite.
I think I'll take Ryan next time. Yeah, the way he performed. Wow.
Yeah, well, with a younger guy his age and maybe the same size, we'll see next time.
Yep.
You can't really say, Bruce had the experience, but he didn't want a dirty box with Bruce. He didn't want to roll with Bruce,
so he ground and pounded Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce goes to 27-37, and Ryan moves on to 3-0.
3-0, undefeated.
Our next fight, we have Ben Simmons versus Sam Garrett, and this was the guy Joe told us about.
Yep.
And
Joe Cycleberger told us about Ben Simmons and said, watch out for him.
And I think we both picked Ben on this one, didn't we?
No, I picked Sam. I
Sam.
lost this one.
And, wow, Sam had a hard, long fight. 3 rounds of just being mauled, suffocated. Yeah. There was nothing that Sam could have done.
Yeah, it's like every time Sam got a reversal, he just got swept back again.
Yep. It looks like Ben had really good, he stayed on him. He had control of him. I mean, man, that cradle was really kicking Sam's ass.
Yeah.
We saw it right off the bat. Got him in the cradle, and I guess Ben must have been a lot stronger than he looks because he held him.
He looked like the bigger fighter out of the two. I mean, this camp, they're really good at cutting weight. They drop a lot.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier too. I mean, I thought Sam was gonna give him a good wrestling, but no, it looks like he got taught.
Yeah, just with Ben being the bigger guy like he is, he just kind of manhandled Sam the whole time.
Yeah, it was tough. I'm pretty sure for Sam it's kind of tough. I know he tried to stand with Ben at the end, but
yeah, I think if he would have tried staying on his feet at first,
moving around, maybe hit and move.
Yeah, because he looked like he was actually, from what we could see in the 3rd round, he looked like he was the more comfortable striker on his feet.
Yeah, he was trying to hit. He was trying to hit Ben, maybe take him out, but it was too late.
Sam, he didn't know much about Ben since it was Ben's pro
debut.
Yep. So of course he's going to go into what he feels is his strongest
wrestling
style, and that's wrestling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he went into wrestling and Ben just out wrestled him.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. So.
And one thing, Sam needs to learn to strike more. I mean, he gets down. It's the second, we saw the fight with him with Marshall, and you can see he didn't strike much once he got it on the ground. And then when it got on the ground with Ben, he didn't strike much.
Yeah.
So, if your opponent's not worried about you, you're gonna have a hard time.
It looked like the whole time he was chasing Ben.
Yeah,
he was chasing him and
just
stuff.
chasing
and,
Ben's
and
techniques the whole
just
time.
got out of maybe got out of that whole mindset.
Yeah.
So.
You know, they call it ground and pound for a reason.
Oh yeah, sucks when you're getting hit in the face. But Ben wins his pro debut. He goes to 1-0, and Sam goes down to 3-1. It was unanimous decision too. So.
Yep, unanimous decision.
Yeah,
oh,
Sam,
it was
gotta
clear.
give Sam.
It was clear. There was
gotta
no
give
question.
Sam his you know, he made it all 3 rounds, even though he was probably, you know, but he made it. He didn't get knocked out, and he grilled it out.
Yep. That was the fight that started the rest of these other fights here. You know, the first 4 quick fights.
Yep.
The second 4 were grueling.
Yeah,
grueling fights.
This was a good, you know, good grueling fight. What can you say?
So now we're moving to Marshall Martin versus Chris Hugh. You know, Marshall took this fight, you know, because it was supposed to be Danny White versus Chris Hugh, and Danny White got hurt, so he was out. Marshall Martin came in, what was it, a week's notice? I mean, this is where it's very important as a fighter, as all fighters, is always be ready, step in. I can almost guarantee Marshall got paid well. I mean, you pretty much, as a fighter, if they need you, you have control of what you're going to get paid, basically. And it's you can say, hey, you know, I want 500 to show, 500 to win, you know. And it's just pretty good for the promotions at this level.
Yeah, and man, I gotta say, Marshall, he looked
really
great.
Freaking good, man.
Looked really great, man. He came out aggressive. He took it to Chris. I mean, didn't give Chris any fucking, you know, just wow. You know,
he was on him. He was stuck on him.
Yeah.
I mean, once Martin started going, he just kept on going.
Yeah, I love when he kicked him on the ground and he was just like, yeah, you know, take this. And it was badass. I mean, it was a good fight. I love the aggression that Marshall brought. He was just on his game. He really looked like he was, you know, ready. I even talked to Nick and asked him, you know, man, wow, you know, Marshall was, you know, was he, you know, must be doing really great. Still working out, still keeping up everything. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
And that's very important. Keep yourself ready. Get paid well this way. And it was a good fight. I mean, Chris just got overpowered, overwhelmed. I mean, when we talk about ground and pound, Marshall Martin did it. I mean, he did an awesome ground and pound job on Chris.
Yeah, he punched him really good. I mean, that punch really hurt Chris for him to turn over and try to not take any more damage too. So, yeah.
I mean, Marshall didn't headhunt the whole time on that ground and pound. He worked those floating ribs. He worked the liver. I mean,
he beat him up.
It wasn't just the head. He was going, you know, beat up the body so he quits, you know, so Chris will quit protecting his head, and then he'd go right to the head. Man.
Controlled him on the ground. I mean, he did everything. Everything was great.
That was a really good fight. Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we had picked Danny.
We did. I picked Danny.
Yeah.
I think you did also.
Yeah.
And Marshall stepped in and took
in.
care of it for Danny.
Yeah. Missed one out, Danny. Should have kept on, but I mean, there's so many things that could happen in training. You get hurt, and you don't want to see yourself getting more damage. So, you know.
Yeah. In the end, you have to pay your bills. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So Marshall moves on to 23-16, and Chris falls to 16-11. TKO.
He got TKO'd.
TKO. The next fight is pretty good. I was laughing because, man, Brian Heaton versus Mike Whitehead. And this one was, like we said, Brian brought it. He held on. Looked like in the first round, Mike was controlling everything. He had at least 3 takedowns that we saw.
There was 3 takedowns first round. He did take a couple heavy shots from Brian.
Yep.
I mean, Brian's got that heavy right hand. But actually, I think the one that really hurt Mike in the first round was the left hand. So.
Mike was doing pretty good, too. He had some good leg kicks in there. We got a good laugh out of that one. He freaking kicked him pretty hard.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, that's crazy. These big guys kicking, and I mean, he was doing pretty good and stuff. And then Brian just, willed it on. He just made it through the first round, and even though it looked like, wow, Mike started to get tired and he started to get fatigued.
It was clear that he was just too heavy for his body.
And Brian did great moving around. He did great punching him. He pushed off to get some space. I mean, it was just great. I mean, I was yelling the whole time. Brian just kept, going forward. And some people might have been intimidated by Mike's background, but he wasn't.
Yeah, Brian wasn't intimidated at all.
No, he kept going after him, and he wanted to see what he had, and weathered the storm in the first round, but he took both the second and the third. And
yep. Well, he got the unanimous decision, so I think it's all three, right?
Yeah. Well, the first round, though, we were thinking, okay, Mike had 3 takedowns, and like you were saying, teaching the UFC, usually when you get a takedown, that's a big.
Yeah.
Big
takedowns are big in the UFC. Obviously, not as big around here.
No, not when we're hometown. But I mean, Brian did. He did punch him more times. I saw more times of Brian hitting Mike than Mike.
Yeah.
Hitting back, and Mike looked tired. He looked so tired. Man, we have a great.
There was that one point where Mike had Brian against the cage on top and he was smoking Brian.
Yeah.
Brian's head was bouncing off that cage.
He didn't look like he got him too. He had him at one point teaching. I thought, man, he was just gonna go off on him, but he kind of slow. I don't know if Mike was losing already air in the first round, and because Brian walked up the cage and he got out of it, and he did survive it. So that was a missed opportunity on Mike's part, and the kicks. I mean, if he was gonna commit to kicking, he should have stayed with it. Maybe that would have
mixed it up a little.
Yeah, maybe that would have slowed Brian down from moving around so much. But no, I think we.
But Brian, he had a good game plan. Don't just stand in front of Mike Whitehead.
Yeah.
He moved around, and planted his feet and threw that right hand a few times, and you could see one of them, man, rocked Mike. I mean, big time.
Hats off to Brian. It was his 30th career fight, his 30th career win. I think it was his 30th career fight, they said. So he's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah. I remember way back in the day when he fought Dan Severn on DL.
Yeah, you were telling me about that one. So hats off to Brian for the win. Brian moves to 28-15, and Mike falls to 27-8. Unanimous decision to Brian.
And then this is our main event. This is another grueling fight with Mariah Parisia versus Susie Watson.
Yeah. You called it this one. I lost this one too. I thought Mariah was just going to be too strong for her. Susie turned out to be tougher than she looked.
Yeah, she was a worthy opponent, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was a long, grueling fight for this one too. Mariah was doing great. She was pounding the crap out of her first round. She was using that jab. Wow, I mean, everything was going pretty good, but Susie hanged in there.
Yeah, and that girl just kept going forward, and she just never went backwards.
Yeah, there was a lot of times I didn't think she was doing too much damage, but I mean,
no, it's not. She wasn't. She didn't look like she had much power. Susie didn't look like she had much power at all. Looked like she wasn't turning her shoulders or anything. Nothing to get anything behind her punches.
Yeah, I didn't see Mariah look at all panicked
odd.
or dazed or like something was affecting her. I think I didn't see any blood until the third round. Hats off to Susie for strong-willed. She kept coming at Mariah, and it could have gone either way. I mean,
it was constant action. It was a really good fight. I mean, we just didn't see much power out of Susie.
I only saw
just lacking that
Mariah
power.
kick like once or twice, and maybe a knee. I wish she would kick more.
Yeah, I think she needs to add that to her game, because the fighters she's getting now, they're starting to be better, more aggressive. The last 2 fights I seen with Mariah, they're great. She struggled with the really aggressive people, and that was her biggest struggle.
And I wanted to see Mariah get some of those body blows in there, because the whole time it looked like Susie just had her hands up protecting.
She just
head.
covered her head the whole time.
You know, I wanted Mariah to just pound that midsection, hit that gut. You know, just light
bring
it up,
them arms down so you can light up her face.
Yep, that's what I wanted. And I also I wasn't too impressed with Susie's kicks either. It looked like she was marching to the drum or something. But
she was just flinging them out there. I mean, they're still scoring, but they're not devastating. They're still putting points on her cards.
Yeah, but nothing to take away from Susie's determination. She was great. I mean, she took everything that Mariah gave her too, and gave some of her own to Mariah.
No, she's a tough girl, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was. Even afterwards, they both did say, I did not like when the bell started. Mariah's right there to touch gloves, but Susie just went at her.
I didn't see. I missed that part.
It was right in the very beginning. Susie, didn't even touch gloves. She just went right, tried to catch Mariah, and Mariah got her too. So I mean, you could just see Susie was determined. She was determined, and but she didn't pull off the win here. Mariah won this decision.
Third round though, Susie got Mariah down, and she was on her back for a good 3.5 minutes.
It was the whole third round, wasn't it?
So I have a tough time with the scoring. The scoring here in Fargo.
That's a good thing we don't have to score. But it was a win, and that's what matters. Susie goes home to 3-4.
And Mariah moves to 5-1.
So Mariah should be fighting maybe sometime soon for maybe a women's belt.
If they had,
They had one.
If they have one. I don't know.
It was the main event, and that's what mattered. We're seeing more and more women are fighting in these main events.
They are.
They're awesome.
I think KOTC did one that was all women's event. So just recently.
Yeah, guys, watch out. Some chicks are gonna be hitting back.
People like to watch girls fight.
Yeah.
I mean, they put on a good show. They pound each other.
Yep.
I mean, just like anybody else. So it was a good fight. It was exciting.
We're excited.
Yep. It was a great night of fights. Loved it. Can't wait for Fargo to have another fights.
Yeah, another turnout. See some fights.
I think the next one in Fargo will probably be Spring Brawl. Unfortunately.
We got some fights coming up though here pretty soon up by Canada, don't we?
Yep, up what is that casino up there? I don't know. We'll bring it to you. We'll keep you guys informed.
Post it on the Facebook.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to see
website,
if you didn't get to see on the website, we also had we posted the results right away. So.
Yeah, we Twittered them throughout the night.
Yep.
So
we've never had that before, so we just started doing that. So next time, if you guys don't want to hear us talk, check out the Twitter account. But we hope you do hear what we have to say. What's up, Cheech? Is that it?
That's it.
That's all we got for you. Remember, gloves up
and fight on.
Fight on, man.